here's your EOAlive weather forecast.
Hope all of you great end to the work week. Gabe Curtis reporting on December 23rd, brought to you by Valley Insurance. So now in downtown LeGrand with up enrollment through January 15th. Those highs have topped out into the 20s for much of us, with that exception for warmest into John Day, into the 30s, coldest into Pendleton, into the teens. Into the overnight hours tonight, those temperatures won't be budging much, upper teens to lower 20s. Expected for much of us, with that exception for that warm spot closer to freezing in John Day. Much of our valleys and quite frankly even mountain passes will only be seeing the possibility for an additional dusting to an inch of snow. If you want to see more than that, you really have to get up above 6,500 feet where you can see upwards of 3 inches. But the bigger story will be that sleet or freezing rain, as any one of us at least has the possibility to see light ice accumulations. In fact, upwards of 1/10 of an inch the further north you are, where more of that precipitation will be present. Heading into the day tomorrow on Christmas Eve, much of us will be topping into the mid to the upper 30s, with that exception for coldest out towards Ontario and Pendleton right around freezing. At warm spot 42 in John Day. It'll be drier than not the first half of the day, but there will at least be some isolated flurries around that could give at least some parts of our region a dusting to as much as an inch, although you could see upwards of 3 inches, but that won't be until you get into the highest elevations of the Wallowas and out towards places like Anthony Lakes. The bigger story will be that weather system moving in the second half of the afternoon, bringing a mix of rain and ice depending on the temperature. If you manage to hold near freezing into the evening, you can see upwards of 1/4 of an inch of ice. Heading into the day tomorrow for LeGrand into Christmas Eve, it looks like this will start out right around 30 degrees at the 8 o'clock hour. There'll be a few flurries around with some sun breaks. That trend continues into midday, with the exception for much more gloom around as those winds gust up to 45 miles per hour in spots. I'm expecting increasing precipitation by the 4 o'clock hour. It could start as a mix of snow, rain, ice, and grapple showers, but once we get into the first half of the evening, that is when I'm expecting steady moisture. In fact, we will eventually warm into the upper 30s. Places that are slower to warm, that's where you see the ice. Some of us may just see rain as those temperatures cool into low to mid 30s overnight as conditions become much drier. That trend continues into Christmas Day, although can't rule out at least a few flurries or raindrops around as those highs warm into the lower 40s. As we do my 7-day forecast, soaking rainfall the first half of next week as those highs warm into the low to mid 40s, overnight lows mid to the upper 30s. We have the potential for 50-mile-an-hour wind gusts late Monday and into Tuesday. Less active weather the second half of the week as those highs slightly cool, closer to 40, lows back into low to mid 30s. That's when we have the potential for at least some areas picking up some light snow accumulations as we wrap up the work week. This has been Gabe Curtis, bringing the most accurate forecast that you get here in Eastern Oregon. Thank you to the folks down at Valley Insurance for sponsoring this weathercast. Hope all of you have a blessed Christmas weekend, and I will be back on Monday.